Okay. Yep. Recorded this video, didn't record it with sound. That was pretty sick. We're gonna go again. The Vancouver Titans. The team with two different shades. It's like bright pink, and then what is the opposite of bright pink? I don't know. Maybe dark orange. I don't know. They've had two different shades to them. Runaway. Oh, actually that kind of works. Runaway, and then who would be dark orange? Don't know. I don't know. But anyway, Runaway players that are championship winning. And then you had a team which was an amalgamation of players from Europe and the Americas, America and Canada. And that didn't do so hot in the last couple of seasons. You know, it's been a wild ride for a Vancouver Titans fan. So let's go through who they've kept, lost, and added. They've kept nobody. They've lost Linkser, Friedwiener, or FRD, or Fred Wunner, Fire, Chungshik, Teru, Rolf, Dalton, and Shredlock. They've added Shockwave, who played in the 2020 version of the roster, Aspire, False, Masa, Aztac, and Psycho. And Skyripper. So yeah, complete rebuild, because they kept nobody, which is cool. Okay, we'll start with the DPS, because you can't really do an overview, because it's a brand new team, apart from Shockwave being back, of course. Now, let's talk about Shockwave. Although the team didn't do well in the slightest, Shockwave back in 2020 on the Titans did relatively well. Like, he was a good long-range hit scan player. He ended up joining Philadelphia Fusion where he performed, and I think adding Shockwave back is extremely good. He is a very, very good player that kind of burst out of the Vancouver Titans that weren't doing so hot whatsoever. I'm kind of thinking of an Alien Resurrection kind of thing where you just kind of burst out someone's flesh. That was him, but the Vancouver Titans body was Shockwave jumping to the Philadelphia Fusion's face. He is joined by Aspire, from the Toronto Defiant, who, if you remember, joined the team a little bit away into the season and had a crazy good performance on that squad. Like, he was hard carrying some of those games. I'm extremely excited for this DPS lineup for the Vancouver Titans. Shockwave and Aspire is really good. And Aspire's not going to be in a team that's all Korean, which could have led to some communication issues. So that is also something like a positive for him too. Now, I think both of them are probably going to be starting more often than not, depending on how like projectile and hit scan end up working out. But we also have Psycho, who is a projectile hit scan player, the first Austrian player too, I had to look up, to join the league. So that's pretty exciting for the Austrians out there, which is great. Has done well in contenders, and I've said before, projectile players in general, pretty hard to come by. You're more likely to find a few good hit scan players over a good projectile player. So actually having a dedicated projectile player on your team is pretty damn good. He's had some decent performances in contenders. He is a good player, but him playing over Shockwave and Aspire, yet to be actually seen. On the surface, it looks like a really good DPS lineup. And I think if Shockwave has the same kind of hard carry performances that he had back in Titans in 2020, and decent performances too, back on Philly last year, I think things look really good for the Vancouver Titans DPS line. Aspire is also a saving grace from the Toronto, was a saving grace on the Toronto Defiant in 2021. So overall, Titans DPS lineup, very good. Now, the tank lineup. This is where I kind of worry for the Titans, and it's almost the complete opposite of the Boston Uprising, where the Boston Uprising have 3 tanks. The Titans have only a single one in False. Now, he's been an off tank historically, so can he play main tank? That's always going to be the question. He's been playing from American Tornado, which has been a very good feeder team for the Overwatch League this year, along with teams like Redbird Esports that have been playing in NA. Can he cover the tank pool right now? Not sure. If off tank's order of the day, then it's going to be a great time for the Vancouver Titans. It's going to be a fantastic pickup. I have a feeling that maybe the Titans want to pick up an off tank from contenders, maybe a little bit through the season, if they find the main tank is not working out for False in the Vancouver Titans, or if they feel like it's lackluster in the role. But if off tank is there, then great. Most teams right now are fielding both, but will False be able to actually pick up those in time for the league and be serviceable on those picks compared to a lot of the other tank players in the league right now. A lot of the good tanks have been spread amongst a lot of different teams, so the tank role has almost been leveled up in a way because the more mediocre tanks have either gone to other teams or they've maybe stepped back from the game or like gone to coaching or whatever. So that's the big question. The tank role in general is just kind of leveled up over the season, over the off season because of the reduction in the tanks. Now, looking at the supports, they made a phenomenal pickup in Marsa, an extremely consistent and solid, good main support player from the Atlanta Reign. He has had a strong history, a good history on teams. He's played for the Atlanta Reign and Gigante. He is extremely consistent and will be the backbone for the Vancouver Titans. I think that's what you need from a support player in the Vancouver Titans right now. The DPS line looks really good. I do have some worries about False in the tank line being alone and not having a main tank to kind of sub in if main tank becomes an integral part of compositions. And I think Marsa being on the team is going to be a good, strong, fundamental backbone for the squad. Now, he is joined by Aztec, who has had really good success in contenders over in Korea. He's played for WGS and O2 Blast and has been on some very good teams. Like, that is crazy. But he was on Defiant. The Defiant of last year. Where Aspire, funnily enough, was carrying a lot of the time. A team that struggled to find grounding in the Overwatch League and has been inconsistent in the past doing anything else. So, can Aztec kind of rise above that stigma of being on a team like Toronto Defiant, which historically has not been very good? Not sure. He hasn't had performances like Aspire, where he was solo carrying games. I'm still a little bit unsure about him, but with Marsa there at his side, I think this support line is pretty good. I think if Aztec proves himself this year, I would upgrade pretty good deep support line to crazy good support line. We'll see how Aztec ends up doing, but as long as Marsa is performing well, which I've said before, he's extremely consistent, I think the support line could be very good. The Vancouver Titans overall, not looking too bad. Now, Sky Ripper is also joined the team. He's been around for a long time. Like, I cast him way back when on Clockwork Vendetta, the team of one tricks, or like some of them were one tricks, some of them weren't. Like that. Dude, that team was crazy. If you want to look at ridiculous stuff to happen in contenders ever, go look at when Clockwork Vendetta first appeared and look at their player list. Look at how many of them one-tricked things and look at how they broke the meta in a way. Like, it was really stupid how they did some, like, the results that they got. Like, it was really dumb. He was on that team, which is really cool. Now, they did surprisingly well. He's also an ex-British Hurricane, a team that is known to produce very, very good talent that make it to Overwatch League. He is a good signing. His Zen has always been his best hero and has been very, very good, at least when I cast him. I'm excited about this backline overall. I do think Aztec has still got a little question mark over his head, but having Master there with Sky Ripper, I think it's going to be a pretty decent one. The Vancouver Titans looking up. We'll see how they handle the backline. I think more often than not right now, maybe... It's actually hard to tell. Master will be in permanently. I think Sky Ripper is going to be starting. That's my feeling. We might see Aztec and him swap in and out. We'll have to wait and see. Now, their team has promise. It does. The DPS line looks rather clean, especially with Aspire and Shockwave joining the roster. 2 hard carry players. The tank line is a little bit sus, just because False is the only one there, and he has to cover all the bases, not only off tank, but main tank as well. I can see the Titans, maybe in the season, picking up a main tank player to strengthen their roster. Whether that's early or later, not sure. It depends how main tank does end up shaping up for Overwatch 2. The support line, and especially Marsa, looks like it's going to be a strong backbone for the team. It's whether Aztec can kind of shake off that Toronto Defiant dust that's on his shoulders and actually become a good flex support player. I still think Sky Ripper is going to be good too. Maybe we'll see them two start with Aztec weaving his way in every now and then when they need some other picks. Overall, Titans has got some promise to it, but has got a little bit to prove, considering their name and their history over the last couple of years. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And other than that, yeah, I'll see you next time.